Hi guys, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We have head coach Jeff Cook here. He will start with an opening statement and then we will open the floor to questions. So coach, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate everyone being here. Really delighted for our team and for our program to have a chance to advance to the third round of the tournament. Looking forward to Thursday. But regarding today's game, it was incredibly challenging. I thought our players, especially in the first half, were incredibly focused and determined to create chances to score, and creating a 3-0 lead at halftime was so important to kind of settle us down. UMass had an incredible season and were very, very difficult to break down. At 3-1, they caused us some real difficulties. And then we got the fourth goal, which allowed us to kind of settle the game back down. So credit to our guys. They faced a really difficult match today, and we're so happy to come out on top and have another opportunity to represent Penn State in the NCAA championship.
All right, we will open the floor to questions. We will start with David.
Hey, Coach, can you just talk about your team's overall performance today and what can you build off today going into the next round?
Sure. Overall, you have to be thrilled when you win a game in the NCAA tournament 4-1. Really proud of that. And I think one thing I would highlight is we got contributions from almost the entire squad today that was available. So that's really great to give everyone some real NCAA experience. I think the thing that we learned about and that will serve us well going forward is playing under the pressure of an NCAA knockout format. So these games really, every game matters, but this is a different kind of pressure. And I think getting through that, handling the emotions of the game is where I think we did really well today.
Was there anything from the Big Ten tournament that you guys took going into this game that helped you?
I think there was, and I think I point to the Michigan semifinal as an example of, and maybe a little bit the Indiana game, that we believe that the Big Ten tournament has exposed us to lots of different scenarios. So if I think back to Michigan, for example, we were 2-1 ahead. Michigan had some pressure, but we knew they had to chase the game. So tactically, that gave us a chance to counterattack. That proved true today. We were in the Big Ten final at Indiana, trailing for most of the second half, and we did a great job retaining our belief that we could eventually get the tying goal. And I think those experiences are very important as we do everything we can to try to advance in Thursday's game.
We'll go over to Otis.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on another great win. Can you put your finger on what was it that you guys flipped the switch with in the second half? Because it was looking a little rough there for a while, and then you guys got control of the game again. What happened?
Yeah, I wish I could take the credit for that. I think the credit goes to the players. I think the one thing that we did do, we made a couple of substitutions, and we really focused on the emotions of the game as opposed to the tactics. And I think UMass got a lot of energy from the goal, their goal, and then even when they were getting like a corner kick or a free kick where they put into our box, it gave them motivation and energy, and it put us on the back foot, so to speak. Does that make sense? Put us, in a defensive position. And I think that we talked to a lot of guys when they came off, Seth Kuhn in particular, about, look, if you had told me before the game that we'd be, 20, 22 minutes to go, 3-1 ahead in the second round of the NCAA tournament, I'd take that all day, every day. And from there, I think just the emotions of sort of calming down and focusing on what we do well helped a lot.
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So you guys haven't played UMass since 1990. So what was it like trying to prepare for this game?
It was a lot of video, Morgan, first of all. And I don't know if you know the backstory. It's kind of interesting. I graduated from college in 1989, if you can believe that. I know I look much younger than that. But I graduated from college in 1989, and in 1991 became an assistant coach at UMass. So I have experience of that game, albeit, what is that, Nicole, 21 years ago or more, 31 years ago. Geez, 31. So anyway, to your question, Fran O'Leary is also a really good friend and coaching colleague. So we did a lot of work on video preparing for what we expected the game to be. And it proved to be pretty accurate, that they were very well organized, very deliberate going forward, and had a couple of very special players. Their number 10 was absolutely outstanding. And he was a handful and caused us a lot of problems throughout the 90 minutes.
Go ahead, Otis.
Hey, Coach, it got pretty chippy there towards the end. What would you tell your players after that, especially because it's very tough to, refrain from getting into it, especially when Chris is getting knocked around a bit. What would you tell your players after that?
What we focused on was making sure that, when a UMass player's season is about to end, and I say that very respectfully, it's really difficult to see your season end in the tournament. We've had that experience, and I've had that experience in my career. So I don't say that disrespectfully in any way, but it's very difficult to have your season end, and therefore you'll do everything you can to avoid that happening. That includes some very robust challenges, competing to the very end. And all we just said to our guys is like, if their season is going to end, don't let them end yours too by getting, say, a red card or a second yellow and being suspended for a game and hurting the team that way. So you have to make sure that your mind is on the end goal of advancing and staying together. And again, I would stress that I believe the experience of going through that. It's fine of me to talk about that, but you have to experience and feel it as a player or as a coach.
Morgan?
Were there any players who you thought really stepped up during this game?
I think there were a number of players that stepped up. I would credit Seth for controlling the middle of midfield in a very wild midfield, a lot of action, not very settled at any point, I didn't think. But I think he did a fantastic job. I think Pierre Reedy, Nick Riepel, and Chris Shakes defensively were really solid and weathered the storm, so to speak, of UMass's assault on our goal. And they did have some really good looks. So I think Chris deserved a lot of credit because, as Otis I think mentioned, he did suffer some pretty firm challenges and kept going and managed the game really well.
All right, we got time for two more. So David and then Otis.
What are your initial thoughts about facing Georgetown in the next round?
I'm facing another friend. So when I was an assistant coach at Dartmouth in 1984, our senior goalkeeper was Brian Weiss, head coach of Georgetown. Obviously, in 2019, everyone knows that they were national champions and have built over the last, I don't know what it's been, 5-6 years, pretty awfully consistent top 10, deep NCAA tournament type team. The way they've approached that is with a lot of good thought, really good players, and I think it'll be a very different game. And the way Georgetown approaches it, really different. But a team we're excited to play, and someone I respect a lot, what he's done at Georgetown. So I think it's going to be a fantastic game in the, I guess, final 16 now. Nicole, is that right? We're 16 teams left. Okay.
All right, Otis, go ahead and wrap us up.
All right. Coach, now that Jalen Watson's back for good, we're seeing Tiger Evans not get as much playing time, but he came in at the end and was pretty fantastic. What can you say about him and also Femi Awodesu?
Yeah, tremendous additions to our group. And notice what we've stressed as this tournament goes on. We're trying to strike the balance in this NCAA tournament, right? We can't really rotate players or talk about depth because we have to advance. But what we really focus on is that in each game, for periods of games, or maybe, like I said before, the Georgetown game is going to be very different in the way the tactics go, the strategy. So it might be a different set of players. So on Thursday, maybe a guy like Tiger might get more minutes, or Liam Butts may start, or we may move it around. But I think what's impressed me is that the team's really committed to the idea that this whole thing, what we're doing right now, is about Penn State men's soccer advancing. And it's just, I would say it's situational. And what we've asked of our players is to trust us that we're going to make the best decisions that we can, that the group that we feel at that moment is best for the situation.
Thank you, Coach Cook, for your time. We appreciate it. And
Thanks, everybody.
look forward.